Leonard? How do you...
Leonardo is fine.
Okay.
Woo!
I got a condition something like that while I was working on a book. Really got close to that carpal, whatever, the tunnel, carpal, whatever.
Carpal syndrome, whatever it's called.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well, unless you're a television devotee, possibly Leonardo DiCaprio is not yet a familiar name to you, but I think after this boy's life, it's going to be happening. Is it scary? I mean, TV's one thing, but a major motion picture, I mean, what's going through your head at this time after a day full of interviews? Get me out of here?
Yeah. You're the 60th one. I'm ready to jump off the building now.
Is this a part of it maybe they didn't prepare you for? Facing
Well,
the
you know,
press?
you can't really prepare someone for something like this. You just got to take it as it comes and deal with it, and hopefully not take it too much to heart, because if you do, you might get a certain attitude, which we all know about Hollywood people, actors, or movie stars, as they say. I'm going to try to, like, I guess take it if it's good news. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'll take it and make myself a better actor out of it, and I'm not going to change myself as a person.
Anybody kind of riding herd on you at this point? I know at 18 or so you're your own man, but are there relatives, friends who are kind of keep you straight, as it were?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my parents have not changed, and my friends still, you know, treat me like Leonardo. I'm not anything to them that I was before, different, you know.
And when they
I'm
get
still
a load
the
of,
same guy.
when they get a load of those haircuts and hairstyles you've got,
Yeah.
ooh.
They thought it was sort of dorky, actually.
But I'll tell you, I grew up at that time, and I spent so many hours in front of the mirror trying to get those
that.
hairstyles.
Yeah.
You must have had a stylist working on you, huh?
Oh, of course. I mean, I couldn't do that to myself.
Nobody could do it. It was...
Yeah, it was. A lot of people talk about that whole James Dean sort of Elvis image that they have. But, you know, it was a lot different back then, a lot simpler, and...
Well, in fact, that was my question. This must have come up a lot, but growing up in the 50s, you can't possibly know about, but you can certainly know about growing up in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Is it such a faraway time in the 50s, or do you see still some
Yeah, I mean, there's a
unifying-
lot of differences that we all know between the 80s and 90s and the 50s. It's a much simpler time back then, a lot of different morals back then, stronger family values. So it was like everything, this rebellious nature that Toby had along with his mother was like really original back then. It wasn't really a common occurrence that a boy would break away from his family and go do his own thing at such a young age, because you know, you stayed with your father until you know it was time to go. But this was an emergency situation for Toby.
Now, those scuffles, combats between you and De Niro, it's hard to imagine that you didn't get some bruises during the shooting.
Well, you know, I'd sue.
Were there a lot of retakes on those, or?
Well, yeah, it takes a long time to do something like that, because what you see is like a flurry of different shots. I mean, and it's just sitting there for hours doing this one shot, which goes by like that. And everything's planned out carefully. Okay, I'm going to drop you here. You know, it's a lot more involved than you might think it is. You might just think people are throwing each other around the room and aimlessly, and there's also stunt guys that help you out there a little. So, but it's mainly the emotional strain, and maybe, yeah, I had a few bruises.
And on screen, De Niro can be so truly terrifying that I can't help but wonder if on the set maybe he didn't get to you a little bit, even though you know it's only a take, it's only a movie.
Well, you know, he was really a nice guy. I mean, we joked around a lot off screen, and he was really friendly, taught me a lot. But of course, doing a scene like that and getting all that emotion out of you and being angry for 3 days at somebody and screaming at them and punching them, obviously you're not going to feel too hot afterwards. So, you know, it carries itself out, but you know, you got to remember that pain is temporary and film's forever, so you just got to deal with it.
Last question. A lot of young people obviously will see this movie and maybe see home situations that they are in. Any ideas about how, I mean, can this film help them, do you think?
Well, yeah, this is the thing I want to try and tell everyone, that I'm not going to say this film has a message Like, you know, that's basic.
I know
People
what
can
you
get a message out of it if they want to. I'm not going to say this is a movie about a boy getting away from his abusive father and how every person in that situation should do the same thing. If that's the message they get out of it and they're inspired to do that, you know, all the power to them. But it's not a movie about that. It's just a real film of an actual thing that actually happened in this man's life. So anyone can take anything that they want from it, but I just think it's a good solid
Yeah.
film.
And say what you want, Leonardo, that hairstyle still looks pretty good. Still looking good.
Thanks a lot.
Nice to meet you, and we'll be seeing a lot more of Leonardo DiCaprio. He is in This Boy's Life, and I'm John Tibbetts in New York City for KCTV5.